Welcome back, everyone, to Pontus Fathom Hobbies. This is Season 1, Episode 1 of our Battlestar Galactica Fleet Battle sort of mashup game. We're going to be basing the rules on the Warriors of Mars TSR rules by Gary Gax and Brian Bloom. It's a warfare of Barsoom in miniature from the John Carter sort of era, 1974. We'll take a look at those rules. We've also got the miniatures on the board. We've got Galactica and Pegasus, as well as Mark II and Mark VII Vipers. I believe they're Mark 7, Mark 8, I'm not sure. And then we've got Raptors on the board, as well as Cylon Baystars, Cylon Raiders, and Cylon Heavy Raiders. Some of these came from the Battlestar Galactica board game. Others of these came from a 3D print shop that I worked with. So we're going to jump into gameplay, review the rules, and start playing. Thanks for watching. Okay, so for those of you guys who have seen my past paint-through videos, we've done these Galactica 3D models that I picked up from a shop out of Florida. I'll leave the description down there below. We've got Galactica, we've got Pegasus, and basically what we're going to do today is modify the old TSR rules for aerial conflict from the John Carter Warriors of Mars, Warfare of Mars in miniature. This is a Gary Gygax and Brian Bloom original rule game reproduced here. It's from 1974, and we will play this. There's a number of rules for this aerial combat. You've got the, Barsoom is Mars in the old John Carter tradition, but then we've got tables for these airships that we're able to fight. We're just going to adapt those airship rules. I've already gone ahead and kind of made our Battlestar Galactica Fleet Battle adaptation of this. So TSR compatible tactical module, the tactical fleet battle scenario using TSR's Warlord of Mars Barsoom airship battles. It's a hex grid system, but we're going to use inches instead. This version preserves the TSR original 5-phase sequence. Galactica and Pegasus emerged from FTL escorting a convoy near a gas giant. 2 Cylon Baystars, accompanied by heavy and standard raiders, intercept. The colonials must protect their battle stars, and the Cylons must destroy or cripple the battle stars. We will play a 5-6 round game. We've got a 5-phase turn sequence that we'll go into soon enough. And then we've got a number of combat tables, damage tables. I've also made some quick reference cards for these about vehicle and craft stats. I've made hit and defense rolls, hit location table, and ship types with their movement and max speed. So we'll have a quick word from this channel's sponsor, and then we will jump into round 1 of gameplay. Thanks for watching. Pontus Fathom Hobbies is brought to you by the books that we produce. We've got a bookstore link down in the description where you can check out the Catu journals out of Lovecraft's Providence, Genealogy of Cthulhu, Necromancy of Nyarlathotep, and the Hermeticism of Hastur. We've also got the Killingworth Bogman saga and our Locksmen of Quanta saga, starting with Dead Sons 11. Our Esoteric Saturn Mysteries and Esoteric Dragon Mysteries are taken from our podcast series. And we've also got our newest offerings, Saturnalis Thralmorin, the Cypria, the Lost Text, and the Dirges of the Alabaster Kings. Finally, our Lovecraftian Alchemical Courtship in the Dreamlands, 3 volumes, each taking place in one of Lovecraft's cities: Aim Aimless in Cellophase, Hope's Home in Dalathleen, Stubborn Devotions in the Temple of Thrawn. Let's jump into gameplay. I mentioned the miniatures for this came from the Battlestar Galactica board game. So that would be these Baystars, the Cylons, and the Vipers and Raptors. The ships came from a 3D print shop that I mentioned down in the description. But the real focus piece here is how to adapt these rules to a fleet battle. And as I've been playing I've been playing quite a bit of chainmail-based battles. We've got a battle of Moranon. We've got a battle of Helm's Deep. We just did a paint through for a crusade battle for chainmail that we're going to get on the tabletop. So, and I've done all the custom kind of battle sheets for those as well. Rohirrim versus orcs, etc. I thought, why not use this Warriors of Mars rule set that I came across It's quite interesting here if you go inside of the aerial battles part of it. Actually, it does say it's rules for individual and large-scale land and aerial conflict. But you got to love this old art style. For aerial warfare, it says there are various types of standardized flyers considered for purposes of these rules. ERB, Edgar Rice Burroughs, mentions many other kinds and varieties can be added if desired. Movement can either be simultaneous with written orders or on a move, counter move basis. And we do have inch rules for that, so I've got this kind of ruler to simulate those inches. I think, if we look at these minis, they're quite small. Again, so having these minis with a kind of an inch system, I just scaled the ruler to be a bit shy of an inch, but no worries. I think it works just for our purposes here. There's also movement. There is different kind of ship stats. Turning, diving, sealing, and climbing. There's armament patterns, port, starboard, bow, stern. Firing. Fire will depend on which movement system is used. If the simultaneous movement system is used, fire will come at the end of the turn. So we do have some sense of this different kind of weapons. Then we've got damage and kinds of hits like engine hits, propeller hits, ray tank, steering hits, and then there's ramming, grappling, and boarding. We do have the heavy raiders, so we could work in some boarding ideas. So the way I've got this here set up is a 5-phase turn. We're going to set it up with initiative rolls, movement phase, firing phase, boarding and ramming phase, and then damage and morale, and then we'll reset the clock. And then we've also got the handy tables here to cover speed, hit locations, all on die 10, hit and defense rolls, and then other vehicle stats in general around pivots and different specializations. So let's go ahead and jump into the gameplay. Let me clear this out. We'll give this a whirl. So we've got the ship set up. We're going to use the inch-based system here. Let's jump into it. Okay, so let's start out with the initiative rolls. We'll have this, it will be Cylon. This die will be Galactica. We'll give the Cylons the initiative here. So let's start out with our vehicle movement. We're going to give them 5 movement, I believe. Yeah, so we'll count those as inches. So we'll go ahead and give I have them in groups of 4 for no particular reason, only because of the number of miniatures. But there's only so many miniatures I have, so I thought I'd scale it that way. And then including we'll call them like armed raptors. I know it's kind of just a variation, but you can kind of justify that. So we also have to look at the range of Galactica and the base stars. I know that they could volley long range, but I also think we can turn the ships like they do in Galactica. Let's also have these backing ships come up 6 as well through the space between. I remember if we think of Galactica lore, right? Didn't the Cylons would have the what did they call an attack? Not calculation, but some kind of attack calculation they would always make, and then they'd say like the calculation's been made. What was that term that they used? But position, not position. Let's also move these up. So we're gonna kind of have the Vipers, we have fewer Vipers, so we're gonna just use them linearly here as opposed to with deeper ranks. I'm sure that's gonna get ugly soon enough, but let's just test out these rules, how they're gonna work. We'll start out with a movement phase. Let me just move these up first, and then I'm gonna position the Pegasus and the Galactica to also do a pivot. So let's kind of see what our rules give us to do here. We can, turning costs 1 movement per 60-degree turn. I need a protractor, but we'll just wing it. So I guess it's because it's hex movement, right? So we can just figure a face of a hex. And all we can do it is we can have this, we can use the hex of a, right, we're gonna think out of the box here. So is that a hex, a die 12? Oh, that's a 5-sided. Yeah, but close enough. Let's just say we can turn 5s. Okay, so for example, if we're facing this way, they can do a pivot. So they'll just face this way. And I'm just using the face, you know, the face of the die as a way to show the pivot. And we'll do the same for Galactica. So these two pivots, so now they're facing this face, and then we'll just let them move like that. That takes the turn of the move. So that's one factor that we've pulled from the game. So 1 full hex forward. They can also move a hex forward, something like this. Battlestar Galactica can do long-range firing of 10 inches, so we'll have to keep them out of the fray. But if the Cylons come into this range, that's 10. That's for long range. And then for Cylon base stars, also long range is 10. So that means the Vipers have to stay out of that range, otherwise they'll be targeted by the base stars. Okay, so then our fighter range is also going to be something similar to that. Like this is the range, so we can use that for our attack. So right off the bat, we just got a little bit of motion here. Let's go one more round of motion for these guys, and we can bring them into firing solution. That was the word, firing solution. So we'll move all of these up 6, move these up 6 as well, or 5, I think it was 5. And then we'll do the same for these. Firing solution. Yeah, so we've been playing lots of different Battlestar games. We've been playing the board game for a few years, since the lockdown, as I like to call it. That's when this channel started. And then we got into Battlestar Galactica Starship, or Starfleet Battles, is that what it's called? Which I quite enjoy. So if you go back and check our catalog, you can see all those games. And I've been trying to build out this retro D&D DIY kind of gaming scenarios. We've done a number of chainmail seasons. I think we've got 7 chainmail seasons already. We've done Battle of Moranon, Rohirrim versus Orcs. We've done the Helm's Deep, and a number of games like that. So this will be my first time trying to do a tabletop fleet battle. I used to be a big fan of the Star Trek Fleet Battles game. It's a tabletop game. I thought of trying to collect those miniatures again and getting that one going. So let me know if you guys want to see some gameplay around that. Okay, so I think now we can get into our first firing situation. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the weapon ranges here. And yeah, people are in range here. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do these as a group of ships. So we'll basically do to hit. I can do 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll have these target these. And we're going to have our first casualty will be a Viper. We'll go ahead to this range as well. Are they able to get in that 6? I don't think so. No. So then we only have these Vipers can react here. So we'll do the 3 Vipers also exchanging fire back. And we're also going to take another one of these Raiders. So we've got our first casualties of the game. And we will see you guys in round number 2. And we'll keep on perfecting this. I'm going to figure out what to do with the Galactica long-range weapons and come back to you guys in the next round. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.